as soon as we get a couple more of our actors in here. And I want to mention a couple rules of the road. We all read at different levels. I only ask that nobody try to correct somebody's pronunciation or anything. If they fumble through it, it's okay. It's just for fun. Also, if someone's a little late coming in, give them a minute. They don't, not everybody catches every little thing as quickly as they might. So give them a second. And if they stumble, it's okay. Just go on to the next piece. Okay. What's going on? We have this general, Gaius Marcius, who's now Coriolanus. He's called Coriolanus because he performed phenomenally in this battle and took the city of Corioli. So he's Coriolanus. Now, advisors have said to him, okay, now that you've had this glorious victory, oh my God, you can take the power of the state, become a tribune, you can be the boss. How about that? And he goes, well, not my biggest and most important idea, but okay, whatever. And they go, okay, now here's the thing. You're going to have to go into the marketplace, right? And show them your wounds, man. Yeah, show the poor, show the plebeians, show them the wounds that you've won in their service. He said, no, I don't want to do that. It's beneath my dignity. No, thanks. They go, yeah, but if you don't do that, I mean, they won't love you and cherish you and, really give you the power. He goes, no, I don't want to do it. They finally convince him. He goes reluctantly. And that's about where we are. So, ladies, gentlemen, get out your play and let's begin Act 2. Again, I wanted to mention one more thing. If someone stumbles, they'll recover. I only ask you don't correct them and have fun. That's the most important part. Have fun. So, Act 2, Scene 1, Rome, a public place. Enter Menenius, Sicinius, and Brutus.
The augurer tells me we shall have news tonight.
Good or bad?
Not according to the prayer of the people, for they love not Marcius.
Nature teaches beasts to know their friends.
Pray you, who does the wolf love?
The lamb.
Aye, to devour him as the hungry plebeians would the noble Marcius.
He's a lamb indeed, that bays like a bear.
He is a bear indeed, that lives like a lamb.
Well,
Well,
sir,
sir,
In what enormity is Marcius poor in, that you too have not in abundance?
he's poor in no one fault, but stored with all,
especially in pride.
and topping all others in boasting.
This is strange. Now, do you two know how you are censured here in the city? I mean us of the right-hand file. Do you?
Why?
Why?
How are we
we
censored?
censured?
Because you talk of pride. Now, will you not be angry?
Well,
Why, 'tis no matter, for very little thief of occasion will rob you of a great deal of patience. Give your depositions the reins, and be angry at your pleasures at the least. If you take it as a pleasure to you in being so, you blame Marcius for being proud?
We do it not alone, sir.
I know, you can do very little alone, for your helps are many, or else your actions would grow wondrous single. Your abilities are too infant-like for doing much alone. you talk of pride. Oh, that you could turn your eyes toward the napes of your neck and make but an interior survey of your good selves. Oh, that you could.
What
then,
then,
sir?
sir?
Why then, you should discover a brace of unmeriting, proud, violent, testy magistrates, alias fools, as any in Rome.
Menenius, you are known well enough too.
I am known to be a humorous patrician, and one that loves a cup of hot wine with not a drop of allaying Tiber in't, said to be something imperfect in favoring the first complaint, hasty and tender-like upon too trivial emotion, one that converses more with the buttock of the night than with the forehead of the morning. What I think I utter and spend my malice in my breath, meeting two such wheeze men as you are, I cannot call you Lycurguses. If the drink you give me touch my palate adversely, I make a crooked face at. I cannot say your worships have delivered the matter well when I find the ass in the compound with the major part of your syllables, and though I must be content to bear with those that say you are reverend, grave gentlemen, yet they lie deadly that tell you you have good faces. If you see this in the map of my microcosm, follows it that I am known well enough too. What harm can your Bishop conspicuities glean out of this character if I be known well enough too?
Come, sir, come. We know you well enough.
You know neither me, yourselves, nor anything. You are ambitious for poor knaves' caps and legs. You wear out a good wholesome forenoon in hearing a cause between an orange wife and a faucet seller, and then adjourn the controversy of a three-pen into a second day of audience, when you are hearing a matter between party and party. If you chance to be pinched with a colic, you make faces like mummers and set up the bloody flag against all patience, and in roaring for a chamber pot dismiss the controversy bleeding. The more entangled by your hearing, all the peace you make in their cause is calling both the parties knaves. You are a pair of strange ones.
Come, come. You are well understood to be a perfecter jiber for the table than a necessary bencher in the capital.
Our very priests must become mockers if they shall encounter such ridiculous subjects as you are. When you speak best unto the purpose, it is not worth the wagging of your beards, and your beards deserve not so honorable a grave as to stuff a botcher's cushion, or to be entombed in an ass's pack saddle. Yet you must be saying Marcius is proud, who, in cheap estimation, is worth all your predecessors since Deucalion, though, peradventure, some the best of them were hereditary hangmen. God den to your worships, more of your conversation would infect my brain. Being the herdsman of beastly plebeians, I would be bold to take my leave of you.
Brutus and Sicinius retire. Enter Volumnia, Virgin, and Valeria.
How now, my as fair as noble ladies? And the moon, were she earthly, no nobler? Whither do you follow your eyes so fast?
Honorable Menenius, my boy Marcius approaches. For the love of Juno, let's go.
Hail, Marcius, coming home.
Aye, worthy Menenius, and with most prosperous approbation.
Take my cap, Jupiter, and I thank thee. Who, Marcius, coming home?
True.
Look, here's a letter from him. The state hath another, his wife another, and I think there's one at home for you.
I will make my very house reel tonight. A letter for me?
Yes, certainly. There's a letter for you. I saw it.
A letter for me? It gives me an estimate of 7 years' health, in which time I will make a lip at the physician. The most sovereign prescription in Galen is but empiriceutic. And to this preservative, no better report than a horse drench. Is he not wounded? He was wont to come home wounded.
Oh, no.
Oh, he is wounded. I thank the gods for it.
So do I too. If it be not too much, brings of victory in his pocket, the wounds become him.
On brows, Menenius, he comes the third time home with the oaken garland.
Has he disciplined Aufidius soundly?
Titus Luratius writes, they fought together, but Aufidius got off.
And 'twas time for him too, I'll warrant him that. And he had stayed by him, I would not have been so fiduced for all the chests in Coriolanus and the gold that's in them. Is the Senate possessed of this?
Good ladies, let's go. Yes. The Senate has letters from the general, wherein he gives my son the whole name of the war. He hath in this action outdone his former deeds doubly.
In troth, there's wondrous things spoke of him.
Weren't you? And not without his true purchasing.
The gods grant them true.
True. Pow.
True. I'll be sworn they are true. Where is he wounded? Who comes forth? God save your worships. Marcius is coming home. Has he more cause to be proud? Where is he wounded?
In the shoulder, in the left arm. There will be large cicatrices to show the people when he shall stand for his place. He received the repulse of Tarquin, 7 hurts in the body.
One of the neck and 2 of the thigh. There's 9 that I count.
He had, before this last expedition, 25 wounds upon him.
Now it's 27. Every gash was an enemy's grave. Hark! The trumpets!
These are the ushers of Marcius. Before him he carries noise, and behind him he leaves tears. Death, that dark spirit, in's nervy arm doth lie, which, being advanced, declines, and then men die.
Yes, and between them Coriolanus, crowned with an oaken garland, with captains and soldiers and a herald.
No, Rome, that all alone Marcius did fight within Coriolanus' gates, where he hath won. With fame is named to Cassius Marcius. These in honor follows Coriolanus. Welcome to Rome, renowned Coriolanus.
Welcome to Rome.
Welcome to
Rome,
renowned
Coriolanus.
Coriolanus.
No more of this. It does offend my heart. Pray now, no more.
Look, sir, your mother.
Oh, you have, I know, petitioned all the gods for my prosperity.
Nay, my good soldier, up, my gentle Marcius, worthy Caius, and deed achieving honor newly named. What is it, Coriolanus, must I call thee? But, oh, thy wife.
My gracious, silence hail. Wouldst thou have laughed had I come coffined home? Thou weepst to see me triumph? Ay, my dear, such eyes the widow in Coriolanus wear, and mothers that lack sons.
Now the gods crown thee.
And live you yet? Oh, my sweet lady, pardon.
I know not where to turn. Oh, welcome home and welcome, General. Welcome. You are all welcome.
100,000 welcomes. I could weep and I could laugh. I am light and heavy. Welcome, a curse begin at the very root onst heart. That is not glad to see thee. You are three that Rome should dote on you. Yet, by the faith of men, we have some old crab trees here at home that would not be grafted to your relish. Yet, welcome, warriors. We call a nettle but a nettle, and the faults of fools but folly.
Ever right.
Meninus, ever.
Give way there and go on.
Your hand and yours. Ere in our own house I do shade my head. The good patricians must be visited, for whom I have received not only greetings, but with them change of honors.
I have lived to see inherited my very wishes and the buildings of my fancy. Only there's one thing wanting, which I doubt not but our Rome will cast upon thee.
No, good mother. I'd rather be their servant in my way than sway them in theirs.
On to the capital.
All tongues speak of him, and the bleared sights a spectacle to see him. Your prattling nurse into a rapture lets her baby cry, while she chats him the kitchen malkin pins. Her richest lockram bout her reachy neck, clambering the walls to eye him. Stalls, bulks, windows are smothered up, ledge-filled and rigid horse with variable complexions, all agreeing in earnestness to see him. Cell-shown flamens do press amongst the popular throngs and puff to win a vulgar station, or veiled dames commit the war of white and damask in their nicely gauded cheeks to the wanton spoil of Phoebus's burning kisses. Such a pother, as if it whatsoever god who leads him were silly crept into his human powers and gave him graceful posture.
On the sudden, I warrant him counsel.
Then our office may, during his power, go sleep.
He cannot temperately transport his honors from where he should begin and end, but will lose those he hath won.
In that there's comfort.
Doubt not the commoners for whom we stand, but they upon their ancient malice will forget with the least cause these his new honors, which that he will give them make as little question as he is proud to dote.
I heard him swear, were he to stand, never would he appear in a marketplace, nor on him put the napless vesture of humility, nor showing as the manner in his wounds to the people beg their stinking breaths.
'Tis right.
It was his word. Oh, he would miss it rather than carry it, but by the suit of the gentry to him and the desires of the nobles.
I wish no better than to have him hold that purpose and to put it in execution.
'Tis most like he will.
It shall be to him then, as our good wills assure destruction.
So it must fall out to him or our authorities. For an end, we must suggest the people in what hatred he still hath held them. That's to powers he would have made them the mules, silence their pleaders and dispropriate their freedoms, holding them in human action and capacity, of no more soul nor fitness for the world than camels in the war, who have provand only for bearing burdens and sore blows for sinking under them.
This, as you say, suggested at some time when his soaring insolence shall touch the people, which time shall not want, if it be put upon't, and that as easy as to set dogs on sheep, will be his fire, to kindle their dry stubble, and their blaze shall darken him forever.
Enter a messenger.
What's the matter?
You are sent for to the capital. 'Tis thought that Marcius shall be consul. I've seen the dumb men throng to see him, and the blind to hear him speak. Matrons flung gloves, ladies and maids their scarves and handkerchiefs upon him as he passed. The nobles bended as to Jove's statue, and the commons made a shower and thunder with their caps and shouts. I never saw the like.
Let's to the capital and carry with us ears and eyes for the time, but hearts for the event.
Have with you.
Are we ready for scene 2? Rome, the capital. Enter 2 officers to lay cushions.
Come, come. They are almost here. How many stand for consulships?
3, they say, but 'tis thought of everyone Coriolanus will carry it.
That's a brave fellow. But he's vengeance proud and loves not the common people.
Faith, there hath been many great men that have flattered the people who ne'er loved them, and there be many that they have loved, they know not wherefore, so that if they love, they know not why, they hate upon no better a ground. Therefore, for Coriolanus, neither to care whether they love or hate him, manifests the true knowledge he has in their disposition, and out of his noble carelessness lets them plainly see it.
If he did not care whether he had their love or no, he waved indifferently twixt doing them neither good nor harm. But he seeks their hate with greater devotion than they can render it him, and leaves nothing undone that may fully discover him their opposite. Now, to seem to affect the malice and displeasure of the people is as bad as that which he dislikes, to flatter them for their love.
He hath deserved worthily of his country, and his ascent is not by such easy degrees as those who, having been supple and courteous to the people, bonneted, without any further deed to have them at all into their estimation and report. But he hath so planted his honors in their eyes and his actions in their hearts, that for their tongues to be silent and not confess so much were a kind of ingrateful injury. To report otherwise were a malice that, giving itself the lie, would pluck reproof and rebuke from every ear that heard it.
No more of him. He is a worthy man. Make way, they are coming.
The consul, Menenius, Coriolanus, senators, Sicinius, and Brutus. The senators take their places, the tribunes take theirs also by themselves.
Having determined of the Volsces, and to send for Titus Lartius, it remains, as the main point of this our after meeting, to gratify his noble service that hath stood for his country. Therefore it please you, most reverend and grave elders, to desire the present consul and last general to our well-founded successes, to report a little of that worthy work performed by Caius Marcius Coriolanus, whom we met here both to thank and to remember with honors like himself.
Speak, good Cominius, leave nothing out for length, and make us think. Rather, our state's defective for requital, then we shall stretch it out. Masters of the people, we do request your kindest ears, and after your loving motion toward the common body to yield what passes here.
We are convented upon a pleasing treaty, and have hearts inclinable to honor and advance the theme of our assembly.
Which the rather we shall be blessed to do, if he remember a kinder value of the people than he hath hereto prized them at.
That's off. That's off. I would you had rather been silent. Please you, hear Cominius speak.
Most willingly, but yet my caution was more pertinent than the rebuke you gave it.
He loves your people, but tie him not to be their bedfellow. Worthy Cominius, speak. Nay, keep your place.
Said Coriolanus, never ashamed to hear what you have nobly done.
Your honor's pardon. I'd rather have my wounds to heal again than hear say how I got them.
Sir, I hope my words dispensed you not.
No, sir, yet oft. When blows have made me stay, I fled from words. You soothed not, therefore hurt not. But your people, I love them as they weigh.
Pray now, sit down.
I'd rather have one scratch my head in the sun when the alarm was struck me than idly sit to hear my nothings monstered.
Masters of the people, your multiplying spawn, how can he flatter? That's 1,000 to 1 good one. When you now see he'd rather venture all his limbs for honor than on one's ears to hear it. Proceed, Cominius. I shall lack voice. The deeds of Coriolanus should not be uttered feebly. It is held that valor is the chiefest virtue and most dignified of the haver. If it be the man I speak of cannot in the world be singly counterpoised, at 16 years, when Tarquin made a head for Rome, he fought beyond the mark of others. Our then dictator, whom with all praise I point at, saw him fight, when with his Amazonian chin he drove the bristled lips before him, he bestride or pressed Roman, and in the consul's view slew 3 opposers. Tarquin's self he met, and struck him on the knee. In that day's feats, when he might act the woman in the scene, he proved best man in the field. And for his meed was brow bound with the oak. His pupil age man entered thus, he waxed like a sea, and in the brunt of 17 battles since, he lurched all swords of the garland. For this last, before and in Corioli, let me say, I cannot speak him home. He stopped the flyers, and by his rare example made the coward turn terror into sport. As weeds before a vessel under sail, so men obeyed, and fell before his stem. His sword, death stamped where it did mark, it took from face to foot. He was a thing of blood, whose every motion was timed with dying cries. Alone he entered the mortal gate of the city, which he painted with shunless destiny. Aidless came off, and with a sudden reinforcement struck Corioli like a planet. Now all's his. When by and by the din of war gained pierce his ready sense, then straight his doubled spirit requickened what in flesh was fatigued, and in the battle came he where he did run, wreaking o'er the lives of men as if 'twere a perpetual spoil, until we called both field and city ours, he never stood to ease his breath with panting. Worthy man,
He cannot but with measure fit the honors which we devise him.
Spoils he kicked at. He looked upon things precious as they were the common muck of the world. He covets less than misery itself would give, rewards his deeds with doing them, and is content to spend the time to end it.
he's right noble. Let him be called for.
Call Coriolanus.
He doth appear.
Enter Coriolanus.
The Senate, Coriolanus, are well pleased to make thee consul.
I do owe them still my life and services.
It then remains that you do speak to the people.
I do beseech you, let me o'erleap that custom, for I cannot put on the gown, stand naked and entreat them. For my wound's sake, to give their suffrage, please you that I may pass this doing.
Sir, the people must have their voices, neither will they bate one jot of ceremony.
Put them not to't. Pray you, go fit you to the custom, and take to you, as your predecessors have, your honor with your form.
It is a part that I shall blush in acting, and might well be taken from the people.
Mark you that?
To brag unto them, thus I did, and thus show them the unaching scars which I should hide, as if I had received them for the hire of their breath only.
Do not stand upon't. We recommend to you, tribunes of the people, our purpose to them and to our noble consul, wish we all joy and honor.
To Coriolanus, come
All
all
joy
and
and honor.
honor. Da, 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 da.
You see how he intends to use the people?
May they perceive's intent. He will require them, as if he did contemn what he requested, should it be in them to give.
Come, we'll inform them of our proceedings here on the marketplace. I know they do attend us.
Okay, let's dive right in. Scene 3, Rome, the Forum. Enter several citizens.
Once, if he do require our voices, we ought not to deny him.
We may, sir, if we will.
We have power in ourselves to do it, but it is a power that we have no power to do. For if he shows us his wounds and tell us his deeds, we are to put our tongues into those wounds and speak for them. So if he tells us his noble deeds, we must also tell him our noble acceptance of them. Ingratitude is monstrous, and for the multitude to be ungrateful, we were to make a monster of the multitude, of which we, being members, should bring ourselves to be monstrous members.
To make us no better thought of, a little help will serve. For once we stood up about the corn, he himself stuck not to call us the many-headed multitude.
We have been called so of many, not that of our heads are some brown, some black, some auburn, some bald. Oh, but that our wits are so diversely colored, and truly I think if all our wits were to issue out of one skull, they would fly east, west, north, south, and their consent of one direct way should be at once to all the points of the compass.
Think you so? Which way do you judge my wit would fly?
Nay, your wit will not so soon out as another man's will. 'Tis strongly wedged up in the blockhead, but if it were at liberty, 'twould sure southward.
Why that way?
To lose itself in a fog, where being 3 parts melted away with rotten dews, the 4th would return for conscience sake to help to get thee a wife.
You are never without your tricks. You may.
Are you all resolved to give your voices? But that's no matter. The greater part carries it. I say, if he would incline to the people, there was never a worthier man. Here he comes in the gown of humility. Mark his behavior. We are not to stay all together, but to come by him where he stands by ones, by twos, and by threes. He's to make his requests by particulars, wherein every one of us has a single honor in giving him our own voices with our own tongues. Therefore, follow me, and I direct you how you shall go by him.
Content.
Content.
Oh, sir, you are not right. Have you not known the worthiest men have done't?
What must I say? I pray, sir, plague upon't. I cannot bring my tongue to such a pace. Look, sir, my wounds. I got them in my country's service, when some certain of your brethren roared and ran from the noise of your own drums.
Oh me, the gods! You must not speak of that. You must desire them to think upon you.
Think upon me, hang 'em. I would they would forget me like the virtues which our divines lose by 'em.
You'll mar all. I'll leave you. Pray you speak to him. I pray you in a wholesome manner.
Bid them wash their faces and keep their teeth clean. So, here comes a brace. You know the cause, sir, of my standing here?
We do, sir. Tell us what have brought you to it.
Mine own
Your own desert?
Aye, but not mine own desire.
How not your own desire?
No, sir, 'twas never my desire yet to trouble the poor with begging.
You must think, if we give you anything, we hope to gain by you.
Well then, I pray, your price of the consulship.
The price is to ask it kindly.
Kindly? Sir, I pray, let me hat. I have wounds to show you which shall be yours in private. Your good voice, sir, what say you?
You shall hat, worthy sir.
A match, sir. There's in all two worthy voices begged. I have your alms. Adieu.
This is something odd.
And where to give again? But 'tis no matter.
Exit 2 citizens, re-enter 2 others.
Pray you now, if I may stand with the tune of your voices that I may be counsel, I have here the customary gown.
You have deserved nobly of your country, and you have not deserved nobly.
Your enigma.
You have been a scourge to her enemies. You have been a rod to her friends. You have not indeed loved the common people.
You should account me the most virtuous, that I have not been common in my love. I will, sir, flatter my sworn brother, the people, to earn a dear estimation of them. 'Tis a condition they account gentle, and since the wisdom of their choice is rather to have my hat than my heart, I will practice the insinuating nod and be off to them most counterfeitedly. That is, sir, I will counterfeit the bewitchment of some popular man and give it bountiful to the desires. Therefore, beseech you, I may be counsel.
We hope to find you our friend and give you our voices heartily.
You have received many wounds for your country.
I will not seal your knowledge with showing them. I will make much of your voices and so trouble you no further.
The gods give you
joy,
sir, heartily.
Oh, most sweet voices. Better it is to die, better to starve than crave the hire which first we do deserve. Why in this wolvish togue should I stand here to beg of Hob and Dick that do appear? Their needless vouches, custom calls me to it. What custom wills in all things should we do it? The dust on antique time would lie unswept, and mountainous error be too highly heaped. For truth do appear rather than fool it so. Let the high office and the honor go to one that would do thus. I am half through, to one part suffered, the other will I do.
Re-enter 3 citizens.
Here come more voices. Your voices, for your voices I have fought, watched for your voices bare of wounds 24 odd, battles thrice 6 I haven't heard of. For your voices have done many things, some less, some more your voices. Indeed, I would be counsel.
I'll take
He has
it.
done nobly and cannot go without any
okay.
honest man's voice.
Therefore, let him be consul. The gods give him joy and make him good friend to the people.
Amen.
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 God
Amen.
save your
noble
consul.
Worthy voices.
You have stood your limitations, and the tribunes endue you with the people's voice. Remains that in the official marks invested, you anon do meet the Senate.
Is this done?
The custom of request you have discharged. The people do admit you and are summoned to meet anon upon your approbation.
Where? At the Senate House.
There, Coriolanus.
May I change these garments?
You may, sir.
That I'll straight do, and knowing myself again, repair to the Senate House.
I'll keep you company. Will you along?
Stay here for the people.
Fare you well.
Exit Coriolanus.
He has it now, and by his looks, methinks 'tis worn at his heart.
With a proud heart he wore his humble weeds. Will you dismiss the people?
How now, my masters? Have you chose this man?
He has our voices, sir.
We pray the gods he may deserve your loves. Amen, sir. To my poor unworthy notice, he mocked us when he begged our voices.
Certainly he flouted us downright.
No, 'tis his kind of speech. He did not mock us.
Not one amongst us save yourself, but says he used us scornfully. He should have showed us his marks of merit, wounds received for the country.
Why, so he did, I am sure.
No, man.
And saw him.
No.
He said he had wounds which he could show us in private, and with his hat, thus waving it in scorn. I would be counsel, says he, aged custom, but by your voices will not so permit me. Your voices, therefore, when we granted that, here was I, thank you for your voices, thank you, your most sweet voices, now you have left your voices. I have no further with you. Was not that mockery? Not this mockery?
Why, either were you ignorant to see it, or seeing it of such childish friendliness to yield your voices?
Could you not have told him as you were lessened when he had no power, but was a petty servant to the state? He was your enemy, ever spake against your liberties and the charters that you bear in the body of the wheel, and now arriving, a place of potency and sway of the state, if he should still malignantly remain. First foe to the plebei, your voices might be curses to yourself. You should have said that as his worthy deeds did claim no less than what he stood for, so his gracious nature would think upon you for your voices and translate his malice towards you into love, standing your friendly lord.
Thus to have said, as you were fore-advised, had touched his spirit, and tried his inclination from him, plucked either his gracious promise, which you might, as cause had called you up, have held him to, or else it would have galled his surly nature, which easily endures not article, tying him to aught, so putting him to rage, you should have taken the advantage of his collar and passed him unelected.
Did you perceive he did solicit you in free contempt when he did need your loves? And do you think that his contempt shall not be bruising to you when he hath power to crush? Why had your bodies no heart amongst you, or had tongues to cry against the rectorship of his judgment?
Have you ere now denied the asker, and now again of him that did not ask but mock, bestow your sued for tongues?
He's not confirmed. We may deny him yet.
And we will deny him. I have 500 voices of that sound.
Aye, twice 500, and their friends to peace.
Get you hence instantly and tell those friends They have chose a council that will from them take all their liberties, make them of no more voice than dogs that are often beat for barking, and therefore kept to do so.
Let them assemble, and on a safer judgment, all revoke your ignorant election, and force his pride and his old hate unto you. Besides, forget not with what contempt he wore the humble weed, how in his suit he scorned you, but your loves, thinking about his services, took from you the apprehension of his present portents, which most jibingly, ungravely, he did fashion after the inveterate hate he bears you.
Lay a fault on us, your tribunes, that we labored, no impediment between, that you must cast your election on him.
Say you chose him more after our commandment than as guided by your own true affections, and that your minds, preoccupied with what you rather must do than what you should, made you against the grain to voice in council. Lay the fault on us.
Aye, spare us not. Say we read lectures to you, how youngly he began to serve his country, how long continued, and what stock he springs of, the noble house of Marcians, from whence he came, that Ancus Marcian, Numa's daughter's son, who, after great Hostilius, here was king, of the same house Publius and Quintus were, that our beat water brought by conduits hither, and Censorinus nobly named him so, twice being, by the people chosen, censor. What's his great ancestor?
One thus descended that hath beside well in his person wrought, to be set high in place, we did commend to your remembrances, but you have found, scaling his present bearing with his past, that he's your fixed enemy, and revoke your sudden approbation.
Say, you'd ne'er had done it. Harp on that still, but by putting on, and presently, when you have drawn your number, repair to the capital.
We will
You will so.
Almost
all
repent in
repent
their
in their
election.
election.
Let them go. This mutiny were better put in hazard than stay, past doubt for greater. If, as his nature is, he fall in rage with their refusal, both observe and answer the vantage of his anger.
To the capital, come, we will be there before the stream of the people, and this shall seem as partly 'tis their own, which we have goaded onward.